What's Eric's goal personally? Also, the goal for Neill and Son.
Opportunity, especially within business, especially within my family. So my dad, he's a contractor. He's Neill and I'm Son. Just growing up, he was the best contractor on the planet, and that's my humble opinion. And work with my dad as a laborer. Growing up around that, he wanted me to work really hard, and that's where I learned my work ethic from.
I know that you have foundational pillars to your business, so I'd love for you to share about that.
Everybody in the world is going to say they're the best. At the end of the day, it's being accountable. The theme of all businesses should be accountable. Being the CEO of the company, you never know what your day is going to look like. And I think that's huge about being an entrepreneur in general. Determinant of what my day-to-day looks like other than just get up and get after it.
I love that. What's up, everyone? I'm Matt Chute with the Yen Podcast. Our podcast is here to help young entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurial journey. And today, I'm with Eric Neill with Neill and Sons Roofing. I'm super stoked to have him on this podcast, and you have to watch it through the entirety because I know Eric is going to touch on so many great things. He has such a passion, not only for his company, but for business in general. So yeah, here's Eric Neill.
Thanks, Matt, for having me. This is really cool. This is my first podcast in person. I'm really excited to do it with you.
Awesome.
Really
well, I'm honored for it to be on this one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to have a conversation. Hope it's really, really profound, and I really hope it helps people out there be inspired to be a great entrepreneur.
Definitely. So I'd say the best way to start out, Eric, tell us a little bit about you and also about Neill and Sons.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. From Beaver County, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh, and grew up in a steel town, an old steel town, gritty. Mm-hmm. That's really what we're known for here. Just a little bit about growing up around here is just, people stay thinking that you can't leave here. And I think that's a pretty common thing that people think about their hometown, but this is a place where people tend not to leave and tend not to branch out and think larger than this. And
exactly.
One thing from just being a young guy and a young kid in general, I just always knew there was more than just Beaver County, right? Yeah. I wanted to get out into the world and wanted more out of it than what was around here. But really just growing up around here, it's hard to think bigger than here. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I knew I needed to get away from here a little bit in order to see the world more. Mm-hmm. And fortunate enough for me, I was blessed with some size, some God-given size, that I was able to play football, and I was able to play at the collegiate level, and that helped me just get a different experience from a different place. And in doing that, I just saw opportunity, especially within business, especially within my family. So I'll talk a little bit about where Neill and Sons Roofing came from.
Yeah.
And so my dad, he's a contractor. He's Neill and I'm Son. Mm-hmm. So he's Kevin Neill.
True to the name.
True to the name. Yeah. And just growing up, he was the best contractor on the planet, and that's my humble opinion, but I'm a little biased. So just growing up around him, just the way he treated people, I just thought was right. Mm-hmm. I knew that. I know it's my dad, and I'm biased, but at the same time, it's just I saw the industry, been around it my whole entire life, and I knew that we could grow something pretty big. Just didn't know exactly what it was going to be, just knew it was going to be within contracting. Mm-hmm. So how it really came to be was he built a lot of homes back in the early 2000s, and then after the recession, he got to just becoming a general contractor, kind of scaled down a lot. He ran a really big business, learned a lot through that process, and then had scaled it back quite significantly after the recession. And that's what I grew up around. So I mentioned being young. I'm only 24 years old, so I'm the same as the year is the same age.
Oh,
so,
dude, I'm so.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm so jealous of the people that were born in 2000 because it's so easy.
Yeah.
I'm only 27 and I still I forget.
So I made it into the 90s by 1 week.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you got the best of both worlds. You can say you're a 90s baby.
I can say I'm a 90s baby.
But you can also just relate what your age is to whatever
exactly.
2024.
I can say I'm a 90s baby. But so I made it in there. But that being said, just in the from 2010 to 2020, really just grew up around that. I labored for him forever, learned from the ground up. That's kind of what he wanted me to do. And his whole goal going to college was you know, not a lot of people in my family went to college. Not a lot of people from hometowns go to college. And his whole thing for me was I was going to go because he wanted more for me. And I understand that. So, say my grandparents, they just wanted something more for me. So growing up around that, he wanted me to work really hard, and that's where I learned my work ethic from. I was laboring in the dirt with all the guys all the time, and it made me pretty hard-nosed, which talk about the gritty part about being from Beaver County and being from Pittsburgh. Growing up around construction obviously will make you pretty gritty, just naturally. But growing up around that, I learned a lot about how to work hard, about how, you know, everything in life is earned. And through that, I knew there was more out of it. I knew it was very profitable. I knew that we could grow something great together. And he had been in big business before. He just needed to get back on his feet, and we were going to grow business through general contracting. So anyways, moving forward, we get to 2020. COVID happens. I'm a junior in college. And throughout summer times, I would go home and work with my dad as a laborer. And when COVID happened, I never wanted to go to school. I wanted to work with him. I wanted to be a contractor. That's the only thing I ever wanted to do. Love the process, probably more than he does. Yeah. And I came home because we got sent home from COVID, and we worked together every single day, and I was helping him with the finances and things like that because I've been learning that in my classes. So I was helping him kind of get his books right, get everything straight. And just saw a lot of opportunity working with him. I worked for him for about 7 months straight before I had to go back to football camp. And in that time period, I just saw a lot of opportunities that we could grow. And I really wanted him to get off of the job site because he was so intent on doing everything. And his whole mindset towards it was, you know, I wanted to grow. And I was trying to inspire him to grow, but he's like, I can't do it all. And I always would say, you know, being really naive, I would want to get him to inspire him to do more, but I was like, it's easy. You know, business is easy. So why don't we just do it? Why don't we just grow? It's so elementary, right? It's so easy. And boy, was I wrong. But looking at it pretty naively actually benefited me. So being young and having an entrepreneurial mindset benefited me in just attacking it without being held back from any previous life failures like a lot of people have when they're trying to get into doing business. So I think that actually plays into a lot of young entrepreneurs. You know, we have to learn. We're going to learn by just jumping in the pool. So that being said, come home, work, see a lot of opportunities. And in the opportunities I saw that roofing might be an opportunity for us. I thought it was an industry that just needed a lot of help, very behind the times, and thought it was an industry that we could win in. I thought it was an industry that we could dominate. With the way we treated people and the way we approached the customer and the consumer and the homeowner. I just thought it was a way that we could jump into an industry and win. So that being said, I come back to school. My best friend at the time was my quarterback. His name is Joe Mishler. He's also a grinder from Erie, Pennsylvania. Shout out Erie. And he wanted to start a little digital marketing company. So I thought, let's do a roofing company. And he was very intrigued by it, knew nothing about contracting. And he said, let's do it. So behind my dad's back, we started building websites, building marketing, knowing that marketing was the way in order to grow a company very fast. And we went to my dad and said, hey, Dad, we need some money. He was like, for what? And we explained, like, oh, we're going to do some marketing for you. We're going to get you some calls and make you some money. And he said, okay. So he gave us a little bit of money. And our goal was to get him a couple more jobs, right? Like, we just wanted to make a couple extra bucks. We were in college. And then we put the money into marketing, and it just blew up. Blew up. It was crazy. So we blew up the business really fast. Our goal was to do 50 jobs in our first year. We ended up doing over 100.
Nice.
Before that, he had only ever done maybe one a month, two a month. And our goal was, I said, we want to do one every day. And as we stand here 3 years later, we do 3 every single day.
That's awesome.
So
it's a lot of roofs.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
That's awesome. So I want to back up to something you said that I feel like it takes a lot of people a long time to realize. And the fact that you're only 24 and figure this out, I feel like is why you've been so successful so fast. You said something along the lines of the way you treat people, correct? So do you know how many roofing companies are in the world?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands, probably
Thousands.
a million.
This is random that I know this, but in Dallas alone, which Texas ironically is a very big roofing state, there's over 4,000 companies just in Dallas alone.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, there are thousands of companies that do it.
Yeah. So, and for the most part, Neill and Sons does my roof, and then another guy does that roof, and another guy does that roof. All three roofs are going to pretty much look the same, correct?
Sure.
So what you're selling isn't necessarily even the roof. You're selling an experience to your customer.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people, entrepreneurs, like, I feel like we don't put enough emphasis on that part of the business. Like, we do web design services.
Yeah.
There's probably over 10 million people in the world like that can do a nice website.
Absolutely.
So what the difference is not that we have designs that are because especially with there's trends, like, so you follow trends, especially in design, like there's trends that you like go by because that shows the best results. In a roofing, all the roofs pretty much look the same. So it's like, it's not about that end product that we put all of our focus on. It's like, it's important. Obviously we had to always provide the quality product, but it's everything leading up to that. It's the communication. It's the way that you treat people. It's the way that they get the follow-up, because like, that's the main thing. Like with contractors, it's like, why don't they, they don't call back? It's like a commonly known thing, especially in this area. I'm assuming it's like that around the country, but it's like, you've come to the realization so early, like, I'm not going to focus on, our roofs, like your marketing isn't, our roofs are better than everyone else. It's like, you're receiving an experience with Neill and Sons. That's different from other contractors.
I completely agree with you. I think that applies to all entrepreneurship.
Yep.
I think having an entrepreneurial mind, you just need to apply an entrepreneurial mind and a business mind to any, it can apply to anything. Right?
Yeah.
So in today's times, we want things fast. We want things now. We want things to be accurate. We want things to be, in our fingertips at all times. We have access to all information in the whole world. You're not explaining anybody anything. Everybody's going to do their research before calling you, and whatever you're doing, you're selling yourself.
Yep.
And no matter what you're selling, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, doesn't matter what commodity, what widget you're selling, it doesn't matter. You're selling yourself. And if you can't sell yourself properly, you'll never grow. So it's being able to develop that customer experience and being able to sell that to your customer and show them. And, everybody in the world is going to say they're the best. If you can't explain why intrinsically, then you're not going to sell what you're trying to sell. You need to be able to show people without having to tell them why you're the best. And then whenever you do tell them, you can prove that you back that up with things like marketing, with things like reviews, with things like that. So then that applies to anything. Whether you're selling roofs or you're selling marketing to somebody. It's really the customer experience and making sure that customer experience is the best it can possibly be all the time and constantly working on it.
100%. It's so important when you're selling something to like actually believe in that thing. Like it was easy for you to sell people on your dad because you genuinely believe your dad is the best contractor in the world.
Absolutely.
And from knowing you and your passion behind it, I believe you. I did meet your dad. I met your dad one time. I've never seen a project he's done, but I would be like, you know what? His dad probably is the best contractor in the world. Because I know that you truly believe that. And like, that's such an important part of sales, is actually believing what you're selling. I feel like, especially like for young people, because like this is geared towards young people. I feel like in college or right out of college, there's like things like the companies that like sell knives, or like, it's like, anyone I've ever known that has done that, there's the outliers. There's some of the people that have made good money doing that. But it's like, for the most part, like, you don't care about the knives. Like, you don't care about that thing, that the energy, like new energy you're selling. Like, it's like people, I feel like young people get discouraged when they can't sell. And it's like, it's not an inability to sell, although you do have to have skills in it, which you can, like, I personally believe that hard work always beats skill. In my opinion, like naturally born skill, like hard work. So you can, if you're not a salesperson right now, or you're not an entrepreneur, you can do things to align yourself and learn how to do that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your skills are. how much you put into it. You have to believe in what you're actually selling.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think I say this a lot. My favorite word of power is believe, because if you want to be an entrepreneur, a salesperson, any sort of sense, because you're one and the same, whether or not you think you're a salesperson or not, you are selling what your business is to somebody.
Yeah.
Employees, as much as it is to the consumer, right? You got to get people to believe in you.
Yeah.
If you can't inspire the masses to believe in what you're trying to do, then you won't go anywhere. And you need to, that's why I think it's one of my favorite words is believe, because like you said, I believe you, and you believe in the company. You believe you haven't got our product.
Yeah.
But you believe in what I'm saying because I say it with conviction.
Yes.
Right. Because
Exactly.
I believe in myself, which in turn helps me believe in my company. Right. Which I feel like a lot of people, we could go into really in depth into the philosophy behind that. But the first thing is you got to believe in yourself. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, if you question yourself or doubting yourself, then no one's going to believe in your company, your business, whatever you're trying to sell.
Yep.
You have to believe in yourself before anyone else is going to believe in you. So, and some people may call that cockiness. Some people may call that whatever they want. Don't let anybody else determine or say anything about you or judge you, because if you're trying to do something great, you're going to leave a lot of people behind you.
Yeah. And to speak on that too, if you're a person that like feels like that's cockiness, it's like, okay, let's say you're getting operated on. I want the doctor who thinks he's the best doctor in the world.
Absolutely.
I don't want the doctor who is like too humble and is like, oh, there's a better doctor. I want the doctor who thinks like the same thing with the roofer. I want the roofer who thinks and knows he's the best roofer in the world.
Right.
Like
it's confidence.
Yep.
Right. It's true confidence, and confidence is infectious. If you can bring confidence in the room, all of a sudden everybody's looking at you, not because of, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how tall or short, or it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. All that matters is you carry yourself a certain way and have to stick to that standard all the time. It's creating the standard. If you're able to create a certain standard within your company, then everybody's going to uphold that same standard all the time.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and get people to believe in that standard, talk about belief again, then that's when you're cooking with something that's going to grow really fast.
Yeah, 100% agree. And the way this conversation is going, I actually, since I know you and like your background and like things you're doing in your business, I kind of want to, it's along the same lines, but pivot a little bit into right now you're going through a rebranding. Yeah. So I kind of want to touch on that. So the logo you see on Eric's shirt right now, it's going to be a little different. But that's another thing after having that conversation with you that we had before. Like a lot of people don't understand what branding is. They think a brand is a logo, or they think brand is just like some visual element that like looks cool. But it's like you understand that brand and branding is like what everything we just talked about is brand. Like
Absolutely.
It's the emotion and everything behind that. So I want you to talk about maybe a little bit like the direction that you're going with rebrand and why you guys decided to do that. Yeah.
So when you talk about brand, you talk about industries, you got to have a lot of industry knowledge to understand where you want your brand to go. And we didn't have that at first. I think that's why you see this logo and you see, a roof line, you see letters, and you're like, that looks like everyone else. If you look at a contracting company, what do you think of? You think of a house.
Yeah. House. Yeah, exactly.
You think of a house.
Yep.
So no matter what industry you're in, figure out your industry, figure out what the norms are. Then try to break those norms. Yeah. Be different. And there's nothing wrong with that. People actually want that. The world is dying for people to be unique. Yeah. And I think it's celebrated in the world now. It's expressing your uniqueness. So as far as the rebrand is concerned, we took it a lot more seriously than we took just the initial logo. We thought, it's a logo, it doesn't matter. Well, you want to believe in your logo. Again, you want to go back into belief. You want to look at your logo and wear it with pride. Yeah. And you want everybody in your organization to wear your logo with pride. Because although pride isn't necessarily the greatest thing in the world, people need to believe in something. And if they can wear that and get up every day and smile to put on that uniform, now you got something. You got people that are behind you. And we go back to talking about can't do it all yourself. You need people to believe in you in order to grow your business. So your logo is important, and your brand has everything to do with who you are. So taking that very seriously and creating that brand is important. And not everybody's creative. Please don't think that you can do it yourself. Yeah. Okay. go to someone that's a professional at creating a brand and talk to them, right? That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make you feel comfortable, and it's an exciting experience to rebrand. But please do your homework, and it will pay off in the end. But that being said, how we've gone about our rebrand is we want to. The whole point of your brand isn't just your logo, okay? The point of your brand is to invoke emotion out of the people that you are trying to attract into your company, okay? So for us, we are a roofing company, we are a contractor, we're, everyone thinks of that and thinks big, rough and tough, big guys, bearded guys, and I guess I am those things. But we want to be very approachable.
Yep.
And we want to be very family friendly. We're a family business. So that being said, we wanted that to be reflected within our brand. So how we go about that is we're Neill and Son. So in our new branding, we want for people to see our faces. We want to be very, very known. I feel like in contracting, specifically going back to understanding your industry, is your industry, or I wanted to say, understanding your brand, going back to your industry, everybody in contracting wants to be a ghost. They want to do your job and leave and never talk to you again if they even call you back the first time when you try to contact them initially.
Very
so
true.
we don't want that. We want to feel very friendly, very, making people feel really welcome. And by doing that, we want to put our faces on things. And I didn't necessarily know I wanted to go that way with it. I didn't necessarily know. We ended up going with a cartoon of both of us with hammers.
That's awesome. Yeah,
and
that's
it's
cool.
cute and it's cuddly, but it does exactly what we want it to do, which is you see it and you smile. Right? And when you work with us, we want you to smile. We want we want it to be a positive experience. We want it to feel very family friendly and inclusive. So we went that route with it, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to change a norm in an industry. And that's really when you're thinking about doing your brand, you're thinking about doing a rebrand even, is really take a dive deep into what you want your business to be perceived as. And that has everything to do with how everything is going to look. All of your print, all of your digital is going to reflect that. So you want to wear it with pride, and you want it to again invoke that emotion.
I love that because we deal with like a lot of we help companies with branding, things like that, and invoke emotion is the exact words that I always use. I don't know if I've ever said that to you. So for you to say that to me, I love that. And I've never really heard anyone else use invoke emotion together in that sense. So it's super cool that that's what you said. That's awesome. And do you know the origin of branding?
The origin of branding, I'm not sure. No.
So the first branding was on cattle. So I'm sure you've seen someone get branded
brand,
or
Yellowstone.
Exactly. Yeah. So branding, they would brand the cattle, and when people would see a brand on a cattle, they would treat that cattle different. They're like, oh, that's owned by Eric. That's I'm not going to take that cattle. I'm not going to mess with that cattle because I know the owner. So that's kind of the origin of branding, and it's thousands of years ago or whenever it was. I don't know what year the first brand was. But even today, that's the whole goal is that's a cool logo. It's that's Neill and Sons. Oh, I know that they're going to do good work. I know what they reflect. That's their visual identity, but I know what's behind that is true.
It's really your brand is almost your sense of belonging. You want people to feel like they belong to something. Part of belief is also belonging. So as you grow your brand, you want people that are part of your company to feel like they belong to something more than themselves. That's a human nature thing, is we want to be in a group. We want to be part of a team. We want to be part of an organization. And your brand needs to reflect that in the way you want it to be reflected.
Exactly. It's all about developing community. It's a lot of what we tell our clients is you want to build a community around you. I feel even to time social media and things like that, it's the goal isn't just to go viral. You know what I mean? It's to actually build a solid foundation and build a community around what you're doing. Because those people will become not only brand ambassadors for your business, but also become friends and a source of you can only tell so many people about you. You can only
Sure.
tell so many people about
Yeah.
Neill and Sons, and it's just another outlet for those people to say, "Hey, these guys are awesome."
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Facebook moms are really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
One of the most powerful,
Probably
creatures
one of
alive.
the most powerful organization communities
Yes.
on the planet.
100%.
So take advantage of that. If you can get that's free marketing right there.
Yep.
If you get Facebook moms to believe in you,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you're selling. Everyone's going to buy it
Exactly.
because they are, again, a trustworthy word of mouth.
Yep.
So I was just saying about belonging and being part of a community.
Yeah.
As far as social media is concerned, Facebook moms are the way.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, what we were talking about before this. So what you guys didn't see is we basically started the podcast before the cameras were even rolling, just because Eric has so much passion. But he was telling me that his target is actually moms.
Yeah.
So I want you to dive a little bit into that, because I feel like, especially like, I don't know, someone in a roofing company or a construction worker or contractor is listening to this right now, but like, I feel like the initial thought isn't the mom, but I want to share why.
So again, going back to the industry, it's also understanding your demographic. So who are you selling to, right? Who's the decision maker at the end of the day? Now, when you're talking about somebody's home, you're talking about something that's the biggest purchase of their life for most people. And when you're talking about colors and you're talking about things like that, you got to go to the decision maker. And I hear it every single day. Most men in a relationship, most masculine partners don't care about the color, don't care about what it looks like. They just want it to function.
Yep.
Whereas the other party wants it to look great, and it's going to go on their home, which is their baby. Okay, so at the end of the day, who's making the decision? The one that looks at it as if it's their baby.
Exactly.
So who do we want to appeal to? We want to appeal to that demographic more, because we want to feel inclusive and we want to feel friendly, and that they can have that conversation, that we're not going to look at anybody any differently. We're going to treat every single person we talk to the same, and we're going to bring our values to every person, and your brand is a huge part of that. So even though we look like every other contractor right now, when we rebrand, we're going to look a lot more approachable. So then appealing towards women is definitely one of the things we want to be able to do, because we want people to feel comfortable.
Yeah. That's awesome and extremely smart.
Thanks.
I think
Thanks.
that is definitely the way to go. So tell me too, so you guys blew up kind of quick. So you're 24, and when did you officially start doing this?
So I was 21 at the time.
So 3-year span.
Yep.
And you guys are doing like 3 roofs a day right now, you said?
Yeah, so we're on pace to do about 350 roofs
awesome.
this year. We are expanding our services. So I mentioned going back to doing one thing and doing that great, and that being roofing. But there's so many people that we built so much rapport with that they want us to do other things.
Yeah.
Right. And a whole thing is, I'm obsessed with process and structure. So I wanted to master one thing before learning the next.
Yeah.
So that being said, we're now getting into doing other services. We're going to be an exteriors company more so than just roofing. So roofing will be our mainstay forever, but we have some amazing guys that can install more than just roofing.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into doing siding, soffit fascia, gutters, and windows. Potentially, windows is still on the. We're getting into it. It's going to be a slow thing, but we are really excited about it, because expanding services is great.
Yeah.
And it's going to obviously help our business grow and help more people get involved. So, and we can also make people's homes completely new and beautiful. So it's pretty cool. That's
another big part of your business. Is I hear a lot of contractors say like, "Oh, I can't get good help. Like no one wants to work." It's like, so you're doing 3 roofs a day.
Yep.
So let's dive into a little bit about like what your teams look like and like the structure.
Yeah.
And 2, I don't want to give you too many questions at once. So let's tackle those first.
Yeah. So, within the contracting space, roofing space, roofing specifically, we had to dial in on how many people we needed to get something done very quickly. And that's typically between 4 and 6 people on what we designate as a crew. A crew, and they can typically get a roof done in one day. You have certain guys doing certain tasks, and it's being very diligent and detailed in what tasks everyone's supposed to perform. In order to get something done that fast, you can't be questioning, right? People can't be just sitting around. You got to be moving quickly. And being really detailed in how you're completing work is really important to get things done in a fast manner, but also with quality. So that's how the crews work. Guys are excited to work for the company, and it's just, again, it goes back to how we're treated. We come from a background of being the laborer, okay?
Yep.
And when you come from a background of being the laborer, you have an utmost respect for that person.
Yeah.
And when they feel that respect, they want to represent the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? Other companies don't respect the guys pounding the nails.
Yeah.
And in our business, that's extremely important. In any business, the production line worker, the blue collar worker, right? No one respects that when they're in a white collar seat.
Yeah.
And when you come from that blue collar background, for our business, we come from pounding the hammer, or pounding the nail. I mean, we get a lot of respect from the guys that want to work with us. So it attracts the right type of person that wants quality, that believes in the same things that we believe in. So finding guys has not been very difficult.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a testament to your brand. I feel like just hearing that.
Absolutely.
Because I know retention is tough, like high turnover, tough to find guys. So for you not to have trouble finding guys is just another testament and proof that you guys are practicing what you're preaching.
Again, it's being approachable.
Yeah.
If you seem too intense, if you seem too big, or people want to work with family, they want to work with those same values that we want to put into the world, and they're excited about it. It gets them really excited to want to be a part of an organization like that. That's gonna be full of respect.
Yeah.
And that's all anybody wants, is to be respected.
Yeah. And to go in with that mindset too. I mean, let's be real. I've heard you say before, no one wants to buy a roof.
Yeah.
So like they're already potentially going into the situation like with like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to spend all this money on a roof kind of thing. So it's like to go in there with like a smile and like do what you say you're going to do. Like it's the simplest thing. Like just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And it goes such a long way because like in the world, even like beyond contracting, like the world we live in today, it's like people's word is like, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's like someone can say they're going to do something. It's like, I don't know if they're really, I hope they do.
Yeah, right. It's true.
Yeah.
And not just really accountability. The world is lacking accountability.
Yeah.
And from the top to the bottom of every society, really. But as long as you can be accountable within your business, and this goes for any entrepreneurship, I'll talk about it applies to my business, but it also applies to other businesses as well. Do what you say, do the right thing by people, right? And I know it's hard sometimes. I know people are frustrating, and no matter what you do, and no matter how great and how hard you work, you're not going to make everybody happy, and you have to accept that. And the faster you accept that, the better. But you better be doing everything in your power to make sure that you try to make that person happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, sorry, what was your question?
I don't even think that was a question. I think I was just kind of going off of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Basically just talking about how just being a man of your word, basically what it comes down to, just basic principles and like character traits.
Yeah.
And speaking of character traits, I know that you have foundational like pillars to your business. Yeah. So I'd love for you to share about that too.
Yeah. So talk about just the mission. I think one thing in entrepreneurship that is overlooked too is create a mission statement. Because again, you want people to believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to create a mission and make your mission big. Try to take over the world. Yeah. Why not? Why not try to take over the world in whatever you're trying to do? But our mission is to change the stigma of what a contractor is. Growing up around it, disrespect happens towards contractors. As much as people think contractors disrespect others, it happens both ways. Yeah. And I want to stop that. We want to stop that as a company. And how we're going to do that is by treating people like family, one roof at a time. Yeah. We want people to feel like and get the service that they deserve, and we want to be respected in that process. That's as far as the mission goes. You got to create a great mission that people can believe in, and changing the stigma of contractors is something that people can get behind, because it's a bad thing that needs changed. So that's our mission. And then you got to create great values. Core values is something that every business on a corporate level has, and I think even on a small business level you need core values. And our core values are pretty simple. And I'll just rattle them off to you real quick, and then I'll dive into ones that are extremely important to me. But, we have 5 core values. The first core value being do the right thing. Second core value being do what you say. Third core value is treat people like family. Fourth is be positive. And fifth is no excuses. And out of all those things, they all have a theme, right? Whether it's doing the right thing, doing what you say, no excuses, just being positive or treating people like family. At the end of the day, it's being accountable. Yeah. And that's what the theme of all businesses should be accountable. Mm-hmm. Be the best. Be striving to be the best all the time, and keep yourself in the mindset of there is no such thing as an excuse. Yeah. Because why it's the fifth pillar and value of the organization is because that's how I was raised. That's mm-hmm. That's how our family values are injected into our business. Yeah. And it really comes down to, if you do that in any business, you'll be successful only because you won't let things get in your way. You'll find ways to overcome them, be it with your team to collaborate together, and you can find a way to figure out a solution. And that's really what No Excuses represents for us. Yeah, I love that. No excuses is such a powerful thing. It sounds simple, and like I see people will be like, yeah, no excuses, but it's like the power behind no excuses is that means, so if you're taking the fault and you're taking the blame, that means that you're the one that's in control of the situation. As soon as you give the blame to someone else or an external force, that thing or that person has the control over your situation. So it's like so important to not make the excuse, because you know what? Yeah, maybe it was like you're in roofing, maybe one of your team members did something that messed up the project. You got a client that calls, they're mad. If you throw the excuse on your team member, then that's you're the control is like you're putting the control on someone else. It's like you lost them exactly. Yeah. And it's like it doesn't matter what happens or what someone did. At the end of the day, we're the owners. Exactly. So it's like it is no matter what, we have to take the fault. You have to, because we're the only ones who can make it better. Yeah, you have to live it. Yep. You have to live your values. Mm-hmm. If you don't live your values, people will see through that. Even if you're selling something to somebody, again, getting people to believe is why you can speak with conviction. Yeah. You need to be able to speak with conviction. How do you do that? Live it. Yep. Don't just say it. Be about it. Yeah, exactly. Right? Be about it. Be about your values, because if you live and you'll die on that hill, right? Yeah. That's like a common thing people say. You'll die on that hill. Then people will respect that. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't agree with you. Yeah. Right? They'll respect you. Mm-hmm. And respect is what will win. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I love that. Be about it. Yeah. It's so true. And two, when you take the blame and like you just like someone's mad, like I bet you're this way, because I'm this way too. If we make a mistake, because I've made many mistakes, sure, I get more mad than the person does. Yeah. And then that kind of the situation kind of like they're okay like it wasn't like they're like we're not that mad about it, and it's like I go above and beyond to like fix that, because I'm actually mad. Like I'm already our ROI, things like that are out the window. It's like, no, how can I make this better? Right. And like go over and above. Like if I went to a restaurant and there's like a hair through my food or something, that's happened a couple of times. But it's like a refund isn't like good enough in my eyes. It's like I want more than just a refund, because like I don't know. Does that make sense? It's like there's like a level of I want you to be mad about it too. Like I feel like just giving a refund is like oh, like I'm sorry, like I don't want you to be mad. Yeah. And it's not like it's like, oh no, I'm mad too, so I'm gonna give you, and you know what I mean, like kind of thing. It's not even so much like I don't care. Like say they gave me an extra meal or they gave me a gift card. It's like it's not about the money to me. It's about that person. They actually care. They actually care about the situation. And so going back to just having values is, going back to that word care. Another great word of power is you got to care. Yeah. You have to care about the details. Yep. Because everyone wants to be big. Everyone wants to grow a big business. Everybody wants to gain wealth. But if you don't care about other people, about treating people properly, about respecting others, if you don't care about those things, you won't go anywhere. Yeah, it's true. You won't go anywhere. Yeah. In business, especially. Now, a lot of businesses cutthroat. You got to think it'd be really cutthroat. And there's a time when you have to make hard decisions. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, you got to have a heart.
Yeah.
You got to have a heart. And people will recognize that.
Yeah.
And nobody's perfect, but even when you do mess up, like when you're in a restaurant and there's a hair in somebody's food, you fix it.
Yep.
You do what you say, right? You
Yeah.
do what you say. You be about it. You be about doing the right thing all the time.
Yeah.
Not just one time, not just sometimes, every day. You got to live it. So it's just really important that you do care. You have to care about every single detail because you're the owner. And if you don't care, who's going to?
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, because
Exactly.
no matter what industry or what product you're selling or what service you're giving, at the end of the day, it's always people.
Yeah.
It's always people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I got a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
So we know a little bit about Neill and Sons now. We know about your passion for business and entrepreneurship. I want to know what's Eric's goal personally in business,
Man.
and then also the goal for Neill and Son. And I asked those two together because I have a feeling they're going to like coincide.
Yeah. So I had someone come to me and ask me, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's a common question, to strive for goals in life. And I think goals are extremely important. They help push you to be a better person, help you push you to challenge yourself. And we all need challenge in order to become better people. You need to fall down in order to get back up over and over again in order to be a really wise person in life. And really, I look at that 10-year goal, and someone asked me that, and I said, I can't tell you where I'm going to be in 10 years, but I can tell you I'll be where I choose to be.
Yeah. It's good.
And to me, that's a life goal.
Yeah.
Is if I can be an entrepreneur, and obviously you're going to have ups and downs on the road. It's going to be bumpy. You're going to be traveling a road that not many people can go on. Okay? As long as you are fulfilled on that road, that's all it's worth it. The journey is as great as the destination. So I don't necessarily plan goals in the way of you have to hit X, you have to hit Y in order to feel like you're a success.
Yeah.
It's like through the journey, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that made all the difference. So when you ask me like where we're going and what we're doing, we're going to grow, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to always be growing. But enjoying the journey is as important as the growth. So we'll be where we choose to be. We'll be as big as we choose to be. And having that confidence is good, because it allows you to enjoy the journey and not feel like, the destination is what's going to make you happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're not happy throughout the journey, the destination is not going to make you happy either.
Yeah. And I love that too, because I feel like we have very similar like minds when it comes to this, like all of this that we're talking about. And for me too, I don't know if I would say there's a specific goal, because even if I hit like a specific goal, there's just gonna be another one.
Exactly.
Like I guess my goal obviously is always provide for my family, things like that.
Sure.
But my goal is almost like to never stop.
Yeah. But eventually, see, when you do that, it becomes very tiring.
Yeah.
If you think nothing is ever enough, which often entrepreneurs feel that way,
Yeah.
you'll never really enjoy your day to day. You got to be able to walk outside and look at the birds chirping, hear the birds chirping, and watch the leaves blowing in the wind, and enjoy the day, right? Because life's gonna pass you by if you don't look at the small things and stop and smell the roses. That's something that I've really learned over the past 3 years. Is I was very intense about everything, working I to the point where I was so unhealthy with my business that I didn't even eat, because I was so focused and so excited. It's all out of excitement. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but
exactly.
too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was like learning that balance is huge.
Yeah.
Learning that balance between, wanting more, pushing for more, always striving for more, and also enjoying your life is huge. And that's why you gotta just kind of let life take you, let the business take you, and learn throughout the process and appreciate the process. Not every day is going to be great, But on the days it's not going to be great, you got to be positive, which is also one of the values.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your day-to-day look like? I'm curious.
Oh, man.
Do you have like a specific, like, I don't know if you call it like, I don't know, morning routines are like trendy right now or whatever, but is there like a certain way that you go about your day? Like, do you start out at, like, you wake up at a certain time or?
Oh man, you got to get up early.
Yeah.
I think that's hard. I'm a bear in the morning, to be honest. I hate getting up in the morning. That is huge.
Yeah.
And what that does is it creates discipline. Okay. And if you read a book, I highly encourage everybody to read this book. It's called Extreme Ownership. And talking about accountability and why that's our core value is because of this book. And in that book, it talks about how discipline equals freedom. And I feel like in entrepreneurship, we're pretty rogue. We tend to want to do what we want to do when we want to do it.
Yep.
You have to, and the thing is, no one's going to create discipline in your life but you. You are the discipline in your life. So, but having that discipline will set you free.
Yeah.
Getting up in the morning allows me to enjoy my life more. It allows me to have more balance.
Yep.
It allows me to have more time to reflect. And I know it's really trendy to like get up and journal and do those things. That's unrealistic. If anybody tells you they do that, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay?
I agree.
They may do it for one day. You know, they do a 75-day hard. They don't. Like, let's be real. They don't. But that doesn't mean you can't work on yourself consistently. And creating that discipline is huge. In my day-to-day, as being the CEO of the company, you never know what your day is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge about being an entrepreneur in general, is you have to step in where it's needed to be. And in order to see clearly where you need to step in every single day and what your day is going to look like, you have to be clear-minded. So in order to be clear-minded, get up early.
Yep.
Get up early. It's the best thing I could, of anything, get up early.
Yeah.
Be up at 6 o'clock. That's a great time. The morning is a very peaceful time where you can clear your head and
really
be
is.
it journaling, be it reflecting, doing those things. Do you have to do those things? No. Is it realistic to do those every single day? No. But you can be doing something productive in that time to get yourself moving. As far as my days, they don't end.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the thing. You asked me what my day looks. You asked me what my day looks like. As an entrepreneur, your day never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends. If you want your day to end, go work for somebody.
Yep.
Because guess what? You're going to punch out that clock and no one's going to bother you till the next day.
Yep.
Your day never ends. It literally never ends. Weekends, birthdays, holidays, you're always working. And if you want to grow something great, you need to accept that and really internalize that you're never off, ever. So now, again, finding that balance is huge. That's why get up, reflect, have that time to yourself, be able to recognize when you need a break and take your break.
Yep.
Right? Things like that are huge, but there's really no determinant of what my day-to-day looks like other than just get up and get after it.
Yeah. I love that. That's like a great, what do you say? Get up and get after it.
Get up and get after it.
Man, we got to throw that on a picture of you or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone watching this podcast right now that they want to get into entrepreneurship, maybe and like their main motivation is like they want time freedom because like what you said is the day never ends. So I feel like a lot of, especially young people, get into entrepreneurship because they're like, I don't want to listen to anyone else. I want to do what I want. I want to be able to do what I want. But if you're actually scaling a business, you're in the wrong business. If that's right. What, so what would you say?
You want to be able to do what you want. So do I. So does everybody. You know how you get to do what you want? Discipline.
Yep.
Be disciplined, right? You asked me, if I had any advice for an entrepreneur to have more time. Surround yourself with incredible people. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Actually, I take that back. Surround yourself with people with different mindsets.
Yeah.
Because if you surround yourself with people that think you're right, you'll never grow.
Yeah.
You need to be challenged. So consistently surrounding yourself with people that are going to challenge you and you're going to challenge them, be it friends even. I mean, but in business especially, it's not always going to be easy, But if you surround yourself with great people, then you will have a lot more time in your life. Because if you spread that stress out over more than just yourself, then you will recognize those times when you can take a breather, you can take a break, mental break, go on a vacation, because things are going to get handled without you being there. That's extremely difficult within entrepreneurship. Extremely. If you achieve that level of entrepreneurship where you can leave your business and it operate, that's the success. Yeah. If you ask me where we're going to be in 10 years, I hope that's where I am. Yeah. If you ask me where I'm going to be in 2 years, I hope that's where I am. I hope it is autonomously working. Yeah. And people love their life and love their job and love what they do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So to pull in a couple of the things you said is get people around you that are going to challenge you, be disciplined. Entrepreneurship is really much as like a pruning process that goes through the first, not even the beginning stage. It's like, I feel like throughout the entire process. Yeah. So it's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But again, it's about enjoying the journey. Yeah. Listen, if you're just starting, just know that it doesn't end. Yeah. Okay. So you have to just accept that. Listen, I want freedom in my life. If you want freedom in your life, go do something else. Yeah. Because you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. You'll never have true freedom unless you earn it. Mm-hmm. And everything in life is earned. It goes back to accountability. But you have to earn your freedom. And that comes with time. That comes with putting in paying your dues. Yeah. We're young. Listen, there's a lot of people out there getting up, working 16-hour days. You got to do the same. Yeah. You got to be willing to do the same without any, question about it. You can't even question anything. You got to get up and get after it, like I talk about. Yeah. And it's just a mindset more so. You got to be in the proper mindset to be a really great entrepreneur. If you're going to start now, you better be born with this mentality of nothing is enough, and you are willing to invest that type of time. And if you're not, that's okay. It's not meant for you.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I feel like this has been awesome. I feel like I'm getting stuff out of this too. That's another part of this podcast. Not only am I doing it for other people, it's like I'm doing it for like me to get stuff out of this too, because there's never a point where you never come to a point where you can ever stop learning. There's always more to learn, even like from other people's experiences, other people's advice, things like that. And the whole goal of this podcast too isn't like a how-to, step 1, step 2, step 3. It's more so how we are doing it, what's worked for us, what's failed for us, things like that. And Absolutely. People that help like learn from that, you know what I mean? Because everyone, there is no, this is how you get there. I mean, there's basic principles of like, obviously discipline, things like that, but every industry is a little bit different. So there's no exact way to get there, but there's these core foundational things. Like even it boils down to also like being a good person in society. Yeah. Like,
I think, real quick, I just wanted to mention in here, if you want to be a good entrepreneur, understand that if you're not good, no one is. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what I mean by that is, I'm a big proponent of mental health. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a wonderful girlfriend who's very intense and has helped me a lot to make myself feel better all the time. She's incredible. If you're not okay, no one's okay. And if you want people to believe, if you want to grow, if you want to have freedom in your life, you better be okay. Yeah. Because if you sacrifice your mental health for money, you will get nowhere. Mm-hmm. And you think you will, because, you may generate some more revenue because you're putting in some more time and things like that. But if you want to look and dive deep into success, part of success is also, enjoying that ride. In order to enjoy that ride, you got to be okay. Yeah. And for you to lead other people, you not only have to look like you're okay, you have to feel okay. Because again, you got to speak with conviction in order to get people to follow.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think that's a overlooked thing in our culture for sure. And it definitely has been like more light shed on like mental health, things like that. Because like at the end of the day, if you do get all the money or you get all the fame or whatever you're searching for, if you're miserable, like what's the point?
What's the point?
We only have one life. Like why sacrifice your mental health, like you said, for money?
Exactly. There's no point. And I think the biggest thing is in entrepreneurship, you get to choose. Mm-hmm. There's very few things in life that you get to choose, right? life isn't fair, but you do get to choose how much stress you take on. Believe it or not,
True.
You are in control of what you do every single day. So eliminating that stress, spreading that stress out over other people that are bought into what you're doing, that would help significantly in getting more time and things like that.
Yeah. So the way I want to end these podcasts is where this is a tough one to ask you because I feel like there's so many things that you've already given for this.
Yeah.
But I want people to walk away from these podcasts with something applicable that they can get 1% better. Mm-hmm. So if every podcast they listen to, if they could just get 1% better, at some point it's going to be 5%, 10%, 20%, 100%. Mm-hmm. So what is the final bit of advice, actionable step that someone can take today to get 1% better?
To get better today, if I had to give you one piece of advice that's gonna help you get better today, is say thanks. Have some gratitude in your life. Say thanks for the opportunity, right? The opportunity to choose. This is a beautiful country we live in. A lot of people have opinions about it, but we get to get up and choose what we do. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to get 1% better, have some thanks in everything that you do. Be grateful. And if you're grateful, you'll get 1% better today.
That was perfect. I 100% agree. And I feel like just that simple, like say thank you, that like tied everything that you just said like into one, like, I don't know, little bite-sized golden nugget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. So thank you guys for watching this podcast episode. Eric, I want to thank you. It has been a pleasure and honor to have you on this podcast. And this won't be the last time you're on the podcast.
Yeah.
As long as it's good with you. Yeah, you'll definitely be back.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of social media, so don't necessarily look me up because I like to stay under the radar. So if you need anything, I'd love for anybody to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to anybody. I'm here for everyone in this world if they need someone to talk to. So that's all I got to say. Perfect.
Well, thank you guys for watching the very first episode of the Yen podcast. I didn't even say that. Thank you for being on the first episode too, Eric.
Thanks, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this, I hope you subscribe, you like it. I highly encourage you to send it to a friend, family, or someone that you know is looking like to get into entrepreneurship or is currently in it, because this community won't grow unless you guys help push it out. So thank you again and have a good one. See you in the next one.